What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. You're watching 4K Motoring. If it's your first time here, thanks for clicking on it. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to be notified of future content. This is going to be video 1 for our Raleigh to Austin MotoGP road trip. I'm filming this video the night before as I'm packing up the bike and checking it out to make sure it's ready. You guys probably won't see it till we're already on the road, but I just want to let you know a little bit about the intro to the trip, the planning that's gone into it, how we're setting up the bike, and what I hope to have happen. This will likely end up being about a 3,000 mile total trip. We're going to be going from Raleigh down I-95 to Florida, then we're going to pick up I-10 and shoot straight across the coast, which should be a pretty decent ride. There's some major cities in there. We'll be along the water for a little while. So I think it'll offer an opportunity for some decent scenery and a pretty cool ride, or at least as cool as highway riding can be. And we're going to take about 3 days to get there, so we shouldn't be really stressing ourselves a whole lot. First day is going to be about 600 miles, second day is about 500 miles, and the last day is about 300, 350 miles. That way we get into Austin with time to check out the races or the city or whatever we want to do. We'll be going down to the MotoGP races that are being held down at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. And that should be a pretty cool sight. Never been to one of the MotoGP races before. It's their only stop here in the US. And Moto America is actually racing their superbikes alongside them. Not alongside, but during the same weekend at that track. So you get a little bit of extra racing as well. All in all, it should be a pretty fun trip. On our way back, we're only going to take 2 days. We're planning on doing an iron butt from basically Austin, Texas, up to Knoxville, Tennessee, more or less. We're going to do that just over 1,000 miles, about 1,060 miles, I think. So it'll be just over 1,000 miles. And then we're going to wake up the next morning, hit Tail of the Dragon, hopefully get some good video footage for you guys, and then be home. Should be a little under a week as far as the trip goes. Now to tell you a little bit about what I've done to pack the bike, I've gone ahead and made sure I've packed the night before, actually been kind of steadily packing. There's actually a lot of storage on this bike. I've got both side bags, the factory Ducati side bags, I've got the top case, and I've got this extra Kriega 20-liter bag on the rear seat as well. I've got a lot of storage. The problem with this storage is you have to be very meticulous in how you pack it, and it's like a game of adult Tetris. You can fit a lot in here if you do it right. So that's what I've been slowly doing. I'm leaving different cases reserved for different things. Most of my clothing that I'll be taking into like the hotels is in the soft bag. That way that can be quickly detached and taken in the hotel with me. I've got bike gear as far as maintenance, repairs, all that sort of stuff in one side. I've got extra gear in the other as far as warm weather gear and stuff for when we're around the city, not so much the highway riding. I've got all that in the other side. We're also keeping our liners in there for our jacket, so if it gets too hot, that'll all be the other side, more or less. Our top one, we have some film equipment. We have some general supplies just since we'll be gone for so long. And we've got a lot of extra room to add stuff if we pick up extra merchandise or as some of our gear becomes a little bit less tightly packed as we go along, there's room for it to expand as well. As for the bike, we've gone ahead and made sure we've gone front to back, made sure everything's good. We went ahead and checked our tire pressures and set them the way we want them. Tires still have right about 1,000 miles on them, so they're pretty new. They've got the outside kind of scuffed up a little bit, and their pressures have been holding great. Per Ducati, per the bike, the front tire should be at 36 PSI thereabouts, 35.8 I think is what it says, so right about 36. The rear tire, it says for unloaded, that same about 36 PSI, I think it's 36.8, maybe 1 PSI higher than the front. But for two-up riding, for riding with a passenger, it recommends going up to 42 PSI. Now, we're not going to be riding with a full passenger, nor are we going to have the weight of a full passenger on the bike, but obviously we are going to have some additional weight on the rear end. So we're going to kind of split the difference and hit right about 39, 40 PSI on the rear tire, and that should give us a little extra load capacity on the rear, but still keep that contact patch as wide as it possibly can be. So hopefully we're avoiding wearing out that just dead center of that tire quite as fast. As far as the issues I've been having with this bike in relation to the pressurized fuel tank, the rough idle, some of the stuttering on different RPM ranges, I haven't had that issue since I've last reported it, but I've also not really had a hot day here in Raleigh since I last reported it. It seemed to be very heat related, which makes me think it was pressure related, because obviously higher temperatures with fuel, higher vapor pressures, that sort of thing. I haven't had an issue since. It's been riding fine, ridden it quite a bit since, and I'm hoping that it's kind of gone away, or maybe the last update fixed it. I don't know. There's a lot of you guys that have been mentioning that you have the same issues with the bike, so I'm guessing it's probably more of just a quirk with the software or hardware of the bike that will probably be remedied at some point with so many people reporting it. I had an appointment to get it looked at by the dealership just to make sure everything was good with that the EVAP system was purging properly and all that, but they couldn't guarantee they'd have the bike back to me by the time I needed to make this trip, so I decided to put it off till the end of this trip. There's going to be some hot weather down in Austin, Texas, and along our trip, we're really going to see how it does. Hopefully, we don't have any more issues with it. I suspect we might run into some, so I'll definitely let you guys know what those are, and we're going to try and do our best to isolate exactly what's causing those issues and figure out exactly what those issues are to hopefully make our riding a little bit better and to make our life with this bike just a little bit better. This bike didn't come with a toolkit from the factory. It came with a tire patch kit, tire plug kit I guess is more accurate, that has some CO2 cartridge inflators and a little bit of plug material. That way if you get a flat out there, which is the most likely issue you can have with this bike, and it still be serviceable basically, they've given you that. So that is under the seat. We do have that with us. We've grabbed a couple extra tools, some T20s, some 4, 5, and 6 millimeter hex heads, and a little ratchet, just so we have it, because that lets us access most of the bolts on the bike. This bike is one of the really highly computerized bikes, a lot going on with it, so if something really breaks, chances are we're not going to be able to fix it on the road, but it's a new bike. I'm hoping that's not going to happen. Should be pretty reliable, so fingers crossed. Speaking of maintenance, we also wanted to bring along some chain cleaning and chain lube stuff. So we did that. We have that included in the bike. I just went ahead and cleaned the chain prior to our trip. We're going to have what I think is going to be, most of the first day is going to be hitting some rain showers. And I think a little bit of the second morning, but then it should be pretty clear the rest of the trip. Aside from that, we've really just checked the fluids to make sure they're good. The oil only has about 500 miles on it, so we're good to go there. And we did check the level. It's got a sight glass on the side, so you can check that level as it's sitting up. Our clutch and brake fluid are still full, and they're actually looking good color-wise, so I think we'll be fine to ride them. Otherwise, I don't know if there's a whole lot else that can be done with this bike. I think it's ready to go, as ready as it's going to be. I'm super excited, and I hope you guys follow along, because we'll be capturing some video along the way, hopefully putting it together, hopefully while we're out on the road, but at least when we get back, we'll have some good video for you. So stay tuned to 4K Motoring. There'll be more of this. If you have any questions or any suggestions for the long distance stuff, especially regarding the new Multistrada, let me know below. I'll keep you guys posted on how it does and any issues I run into along the way. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching 4K Motoring. Stay tuned, like and subscribe, and we'll see you later.